welcome you again to another episode of the Shareholders podcast. Thank you for investing. Guys, it's a blessing to be here. Very excited. Man, it's so good to have guests back on the show, man. I know still can't get everybody in the studio yet, with restrictions and all that, but we almost there. But I have a great guest today. Very excited. He comes highly recommended. He's the GM of KCEP FM Power 88 in Las Vegas. Mr. Craig Knight, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm great today. How about yourself?
I'm good. I thank you for being on the Shareholders podcast, man, and thank you for the time very much. So,
yep. Thank you for the invite and thank you for having me. It's
a
pleasure to be here.
Yes, definitely. So let's get in it. I mean, you are the GM of a radio station, and that's, you don't meet a lot of people with that title. You know what I'm saying? What do you do with all that? And so that kind of is intriguing just in of itself. So how did you find this profession, or did the profession find you, so to speak?
Okay, I'm going to say both. I found it and it found me. But I'm going to say we found each other, and being a DJ first and then eventually getting into radio, where I started out as a mix show DJ, then on-air personality, then club DJ, promotions director, then assisting the production department, doing production, assisting the music department, assisting the program director, and just came full circle. I've done street team, the whole nine. I've done everything, and to be GM is an honor because it's like a situation where it came full circle.
Wow. So again, guys, we're picking up where we left off. No overnight success here. You just heard the progression, and
yes,
you know what I mean, which I love to delve into. So let me stay on that real quick for a second too.
Sure.
Did you kind of when the GM position opened up, if you will, or something like that, was it something that you had to lobby for? Were you recommended for it? Or is it just kind of right place, right time?
I'm gonna say all three.
Yeah, okay, right.
I saw when it was available, so I applied for it. But and also I became I had a reference, Lewis Connors Jr., who was the program director at the time when I first became acquainted with 88.1, well, the second time, because this is my third stint. And he was program director at the time. So when my name came up, he vouched for me and said, yeah, it makes sense. He's a perfect fit. And then, so to answer your question, kind of all three.
Nice. Yeah, nice. So let me ask you this then, as a question I love to ask a lot of guests. Have you always had an entrepreneurial spirit, as a young kid, always into something for a business? Or is it something more that you've picked up through the years where a passion kind of developed into your entrepreneurship?
Well, actually, I've had an entrepreneurial spirit since I was young. So, for instance, I had a paper route when I was 11 and 12 years old back in the Bronx, and this was in the 70s. So it kind of started there, and I like the idea of, working for myself. But of course, I had to eventually, get a job in other places. But anytime I was employed anywhere else, I had a tendency of studying and learning that company, and then actually coming up with some ideas to help the company. And I would have a tendency of participating and coming up with the ideas as if I owned the company. Like, what would I do? What would I do to make this company better if it belonged to me? And so I'll say from the paper route at a younger age to even having my own entertainment company, Smooth Sea Entertainment in Las Vegas, for about 2 years, in between working for radio stations. And I was one of the first to have an internet radio station in Vegas from 2005 to 2007, and that was called C108. And I also used to market, promote, and host a couple of events with live bands and lounges and concert venues, performed in many clubs and put together club events. And I actually hosted and promoted and creatively participated in a couple of TV shows too during those stints.
See, so it's always been something, the hustle been there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, anything connected to entertainment and music, it's like I had to put my hands on it, and it helped me develop and grow to know the industry, as a whole. and be able to see the big picture, you know.
Yeah, because I hear some people, especially younger people, that, man, I don't know what I want to do, or I'm still trying to figure it out and things like that. But I always say just be active doing something, and
Yeah.
the way will start to be paved for you in just doing that.
Right.
So,
and learn the craft, and
yeah.
by being interested in everything that's connected to whatever it is that you're interested in will help you grow and develop, and actually have even help you with your vision too, because you have a greater idea of how things operate, how they work, and then you have the insight on what are some of the things to make it better and make it more successful.
Yeah. So let me ask you then now, because you're
Okay.
the director there, and
Mhm.
it's funny. I make this joke where when you're an entry level worker, everybody talk about how they don't like what the manager doing, but then when you become the manager, you kind of understand, like, oh, okay,
Oh yeah.
I see what it is. So yeah. What makes first, let me ask you, what do you feel makes a good manager, just in general, with people and working with folks?
So I would say, starting out and just speaking for myself, what made me a good manager is that along the way, I always had good relationship with managers, and I always like to pick their brains and learn more about what to do, what works, what not to do, and what have you. So I think first, to make a good manager, you have to be a good follower and a good listener, and be willing to learn and grow, and know that you don't know it all. You don't know everything, and there's always an opportunity to learn something to make it better. How can I be a better me today than I was yesterday? And that's learning and growing and paying attention and accepting the fact that you're not perfect and you can always be better. Also, I think a good manager, and from these things, that a good manager can be someone with vision, and who can translate that vision to their team of employees to buy into it, to buy into the vision and execute it successfully. Also, a good manager is one who can creatively organize and provide opportunities for staff to grow their talents and gifts to one day that they can, be on their own and go their own path.
Man, that's outstanding. Because I think sometimes, like, I kind of equated to sports, where a great player doesn't make a great coach all the time. You know what I mean? Where
That's right.
guys all-star and all that, but he tried coaching and it's a mess because he's not really good at managing. He's talented, and it's levels to this in terms of management.
Right.
But I love how you said it too, where you can create opportunities for the people that are working under you, and they can grow and
yeah. And like you say, it's like being a manager is almost like being a parent. You see the skills and the talents that everyone has, and everyone has different skills and talents. So you want to create opportunity and platforms to put them in a position where they can maximize their talent and grow their talent. It's like with an organization, everyone has a place. And just like with a car, there's different parts in the engine, and there's no important part than the other. They're all important, but and to make the engine run, you have to have the right part in the right position. So you can look at it like that.
No, that's well said. That's well said. So then let me then put it on the other side of that. How hard is it to find the right people to hire that kind of have that drive or that vision? How do you kind of find that talent that, you can be on the team, or, is that just a trial and error thing?
Yeah, it's kind of both. It's a trial and error because you're dealing with personalities. But I'm gonna say it is a challenge at times, because everyone has their own dreams and aspirations. So I would say the key is to figure out how to make it a win-win situation with that person, where through your vision, their dreams can be developed and accomplished to one day they can graduate and go on their own path from the knowledge that they learned from being around you. So it's like one hand washes the other. I can help you and you can help me. So you helping me with my vision, and in the process of you helping me with my vision, you're developing, and preparing for your vision.
Right, right.
And, you know, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's actually, man, guys, I'm already enjoying this a lot. Craig Knight, I'm learning some things. You know, that's the
Oh,
point
man.
that's why we do this.
Yes.
So also, you know, and I don't want to put you just in a box because you're much more than just the GM there.
Mm-hmm.
You are a very active member of the community. A lot of social issues that you're part of and headlining and things like that. Why do you feel like it's so important to be involved? You know, we kind of talk about giving back. Why is that important for you?
You know, there's a great reward in pouring into people and help and changing people's lives and helping people develop and everything. There's a great reward in feeling that money can't buy. You know, and it also connects to, I believe, blessings from God, because you're being it's almost like you being an assistant to God, you being his extended hand.
Yeah.
You know, because that person could have prayed like, you know, hey, I pray that, you know, somebody send me something, or somebody give me a word, or somebody help me with my situation. And when you do that, you can't describe the feeling when people say, you know what, you're the answer to my prayers, or man, I was praying about this and all that. And that makes you feel like you're doing God's work too and being obedient, because you just never know. Yeah. But also, I think it's important to be in the community and being part of organizations is relationships, developing relationships. And in any business, relationships are key to your success, and also your reputation and your brand. And all of that plays a role in relationships. And a good friend of mine named Shondell Newsom, he calls them real relationships. You know, so and that's real. You know, is you know, if you can have real relationships, it'll grow to like a lifetime of working together, or somebody having you in mind. You know, like how this interview came up, you know, somebody had me in mind.
That's the truth.
And that was through a real relationship.
I like that. I like that. That's actually, that makes sense. I mean, it's more so, you know, there's the hard work of the X's and O's, but you do have to have relationships. You know what I mean? You want to be able to be someone that people can recommend. And I like how you said that as well, as kind of being, you know, an extension of God's grace towards somebody, to where, you know, you have no idea just that little thing you do, how the ripple effect, and it can reverberate, which is why it's truly important. I want to ask you also a question kind of in line with that, but a little bit different in terms of social justice and reform for minorities. We did a show a few weeks ago about this story that broke. I want to get your thoughts just with, there's a Coach Brian Flores is in the NFL, and he's got a lawsuit right now against the NFL and some teams regarding, you know, the hiring practices and what he feels is some discriminatory situations. Could I get your thoughts on that story, sir?
Sure. Well, first of all, I think the NFL, they need to address that level of equality now. This has been talked about for a long time. They put the what was it, the Rudy
rule,
the Rudy rule in, which was supposed to open up the opportunities for African Americans to be not only coaches but also general managers, you know, and be on an admin level of that. And it's been talked about, and when that Rooney rule, Rooney rule. I want to keep calling it Rudy, but it's Rooney. The Rooney rule, when it was put in place, I believe that it helped to provide opportunities for several African American head coaches. And then it just dwindled after that, and it never kind of surpassed that ceiling, you know, to the point to where there was one Black coach, and now they have Coach, you know, Lovey back. But it's like, you know, did they do that just to quiet it down?
Right. Yeah.
Because there are other great young Black assistant coaches that could have some of these jobs that help teams win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And then they're hiring coaches that, I mean, one coach that almost got hired, from what I understand, only had high school coaching experience, and he was being considered to be an NFL coach. Can you believe that?
That's true. I remember that. Yep. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I would say that the NFL, they need to step it up and it's time to match what's been said and what's on paper with action.
Yes, yes. I love that. I love that. And it's, we hit on it so much a few weeks ago. And so if I can segue that real quick with you,
Sure.
I mean, again, like I said, I don't meet very many GMs of radio stations, and then let alone African-American GM. And so when you referred to me and I say, oh, wow, and it's like, I kind of don't want to keep having that reaction like, oh, wow, great. That's, right. Because it should be more like good, like that should be the norm. But even in your profession, you kind of feel like there's a ceiling sometimes for all minorities, to where it's kind of, we're trying to break through more and see more of us, but it's hard.
Right. Right. So I'll put it like this. When it comes to urban radio and public radio, there are a lot of Black radio stations and GMs on HBCU campuses and standalones in different cities and everything. But like the NFL, I don't see enough GMs on that commercial level, like the iHeart radios, the Clear channels, so it's almost like we're kind of going through the same thing the NFL is going through. We are the culture.
Yes.
We are the music. We are the product. We're everything, just like in the NFL and the NBA. We're the talent, but when it comes to the upper management or ownership and, things of that nature, you don't see too many of us there. But yet, without us, there would be no culture or business,
That's amazing to say that, because the most glaring thing with the NFL is that 70% of the workforce is African American, and
correct.
In the urban radio landscape, oh my gosh, I don't even know the number, but like you said, it's us, but just on one level, and we're not seeing enough, in the corporate. And so I hope, a person said, litigation helps and some things like that to get it more. I think with the awareness being raised more with this stuff, people will not tolerate it as much and finally speak up and say, no, this ain't right now.
Right. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take people of the same persuasion to counter and fight for the people that are not empowered to fight.
Yes.
That's what it's going to come down to. And if you look at it, Monty, from the top to the bottom, from government to entertainment to music to politics, whatever the case may be, we're all in the same boat, and we all need the same breakthrough that can only come from the powers that be. I mean, they're the ones that's up there, so they have to side. I don't want to say side, but they would have to be the ones to say, okay, enough is enough. We have to make the changes and make this right. And to me, that should happen because of what this country stands for on paper.
Yeah.
When you have the Constitution and you have the laws and the American dream and the thoughts of what America is supposed to be for everyone, equal playing field and all that. Everything looks great on paper, but in reality, there's a double standard.
Yes.
That's just what it is. It's a divide in every area between class, between races, between levels of achievement, success, finances. The equality is just not there. And until that happens, I believe America, and then the connection of America to what we're talking about now, it won't be as great as it can be.
Yeah. No, it's undeniable. And I totally agree with you wholeheartedly on that. Guys, we're having a great conversation with Mr. Craig Knight, starting to wrap it up. But I want to ask you too, then, being an African-American entrepreneur and, which is just I just always say, just for even young people to see that, it's just good. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, just to see somebody of your color or your race, on a higher level like that. Because so long it was always, a jump shot to get you out or a song, but to be successful, what is the main advice that you kind of give? We kind of hit on a little bit, but the entrepreneurs or people, man, I want to do what you do, or how'd you get to that? What is it kind of that you could tell them to help them become better professionals?
I would say It starts with passion. You know, whatever it is you're passionate about and have the talent and gifts and you love to do, you know, do what you love and love what you do. If you do that, you'll never work a day in your life because your passion will carry you, and whatever needs to be done in your journey, there's no time too early, there's no time too late, and there's no distance too far to do what you need to do to become successful.
Yeah.
You know, and I always tell young people that, what is your passion? What are you good at? You know, if you could connect that to, you know, being an entrepreneur or even, you know, working for a company that, you know, you learn the ins and outs and then one day own your own company, start off small, you know, kind of like what Berry Gordy did with Motown. You know, he was in the Ford Motor Company, and he actually, in a genius way, took the production and how everything was done with cars and translated to artists.
Yeah,
and he came up with these different departments, you know, this department, you got to go through this test. This department, you're going to develop this. And, you know, like putting a car together. And he took that and equate that to putting an artist together and great music. All of the elements that makes a great artist, the songwriter, the producer, wardrobe, choreography. And it was like an artist development. A lot of that still doesn't happen today. But when it happened, that's what made Motown so successful, because it was organized. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier, to creatively organize a company to where it will develop the talent and the skills, and then, you know, they can move on and do their own thing on a smaller scale, and then eventually a bigger scale.
Man, that's outstanding. That's outstanding.
Great.
So just kind of wrapping things up then,
Sure.
I would like to then just kind of, so for you, I didn't have this on the question list, but I like to ask this as well. Yeah. Where else do you want to go? I mean, you accomplished so much stuff. Like, is there anything else you got on the bucket list of, man, I'd like to do this or something? Is there something else that you got a goal for?
Absolutely. So like I said earlier, I've done everything in radio, in the radio industry, even from internship all the way through, even assisting the sales department and coming up with ideas and promotions. So I've dabbled in every department, and I've done everything in radio, but own it. I've owned it. I started an internet radio station, but I would like to own a radio station, whether it's a station like KCP or a commercial radio station, you know. And I like to own it during a time when I'm retired, so I can just be a consultant.
There you go. That's you know, I had a talk with a friend, and we were just talking about ownership, how it is just, it's everything, you know, even if it's not as big as you want it to be yet, just the fact that you can own it and can grow it yourself is very important. That's some key knowledge there, guys. I hope y'all was listening, man. We got some gems today. Let me ask you real quick also, we read on this podcast, you know, you watch this, you know, we like to read. You got any books that you can recommend or anything that you've been enjoying reading?
Oh, wow. You know, I'm going to say any book that's connected to what you want to do. Or what you're trying to do, because I've read books like I guess FCC guidelines that's connected to radio, promotions, fundraising. So it was really you know, books and pamphlets connected to that. You know, anything that the Broadcasting Association offers to read and keep up on. So I would say that, but there are some entrepreneur type books that you know, that's good out there to read, to motivate you and keep you on the path. There are books that talk about small businesses, owning your own business. So anything I would say connecting would be a good book. But my wife just handed me a book, and she's read this book, and it is a good book. And it's called Define Your Brand, Imagine Your Future, Reinventing You by Dorie Clark, Dorie Clark. And she's and this is a Harvard Business Review press, so they endorse this.
Okay, nice.
So this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see it because my image keep.
Yeah, I think it's blocking you.
Yeah, let me see if I can. I don't think I can do it. Well, maybe I can screenshot it and send it to you.
No, definitely.
And you can put it on your program.
Awesome. But yeah, that's some good tips, because I mean, again, if it's your field, you should know everything about your field and read as much as you can up on it, for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm not in radio, so I don't know the FCC stuff, but you are, so you got to know it. I mean, it makes sense. So, sir, real quick, can you give us any plugs if anybody want to learn some more or get in contact where you are, how to find you or anything like that?
Yeah, you can actually go to power88lv.com. Mm-hmm. That's our website, and our social media is at Vegas Power 88 on Facebook and Twitter, and also New Vegas Power 88 on Instagram. I think if you go on there, you can learn more about the radio station and what we're doing and the things that's coming up. This year we celebrate our 50th anniversary.
Wow.
Come October 2022.
Wow.
So yeah, so we are developing some events now and some things for the community to enjoy. I can't really talk about it now because we're still developing it.
Yeah.
But it should be nice. And we're going to celebrate the whole month. So.
Oh, that's outstanding. That's outstanding. Appreciate the time. I hear that BX, that Bronx. You said I hear it in your accent.
Oh yeah, it comes out now and then. But I'm gonna tell you, when I go home and visit, I try to go twice a year because I still have my mother's side of the family out there, and I have a bunch of cousins and uncles and whatnot. And it doesn't take long once I'm there that it comes back full swing. Just being around them,
Yeah. The boogie down, Yankees. Yeah, I got you. But
oh yeah.
Thank you so much for the time, sir. I really appreciate it, guys. Check out Mr. Craig Knight. I mean, he's doing it on high levels, a very busy man, and he carved out some time for the shareholders. So I hope you guys take it to heart what he said. I mean, he gave you some great gems on management, how to motivate people, how to serve, how to learn. So, sir, thank you for the time, man. Blessings for the business and your family. Appreciate you coming on Shareholders.
Thank you, Monty, and thank you for having me. It was a pleasure being here, and I enjoyed this interview.
Yes, thank you, sir. Guys, check us out. Shareholders Podcast, Mighty Sharp Network. As always, man, be blessed. Stay sharp. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.